Hey guys, welcome to the Spirit Essence Show. I am Tara Diana. I am your hostess with the mostest. I am an empowerment medium, and this is my show that we do weekly to showcase individuals who follow my philosophy of the power of three: body, mind, and spirit. So today I have the pleasure of showcasing a very good friend of mine, a master at manifestation, Kristy Abel. Kristy, thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, I am so happy to be here. I'm thrilled to be asked.
And look at us, Boo. We're both wearing pink. I love that. Heart chakra, right? That's for us. That's pink is always for coming in and feeding our souls and looking after ourselves. So I love that for both of us. It's cold.
Yeah. We didn't have a furnace since February, and then Ben installed it yesterday, and it snowed in Tsawwassen, so it was just in time. It was perfect.
That's so funny. My daughter just got her license, and she is literally melting down that my husband has not put her snow tires on yet. She bought a car outright, a brand new Honda. I want to say Civic, but I don't know if it's a Civic. Doesn't matter. She bought a brand new car, and they told her she'd have it November, December. My husband, who works for Honda, just came to her and said it hasn't even been sent to production yet.
Oh, that's the way it is right now.
So she's driving Grandpa's car because Grandpa can no longer drive a car.
Hey, at least she's got one.
That's what I said. And she's so grateful. She's such a good girl. She's so grateful. But anyway, it's snowed here a little bit too. The pit bull, honey, she loves it out there. She's from Puerto Vallarta, but she's a snow baby.
Nice.
Anyway.
Yeah, I can't help, but it's like a manifestation thing, right? Like with the furnace, we went forever. And then, there was supply chain issues. There was this and that. And then I was like, we really need a furnace. And then it happened the day that we needed it. So this is a good example of, it looks like a coincidence, but it's not.
Okay, seriously though, February?
Yeah. It was February.
It was cold in February.
It was, but like we have, space heaters, and we have the electric
blankets,
we have the fireplace and all that kind of stuff. So it wasn't too bad, and we had a warm summer. But yeah, it was very nice to be warm when I woke up this morning.
Right. I just took all three dogs out for a quick bathroom break. And I went out in my little UGG slippers and my hoodie, and I was like, sweet goddess, what is this? What is this? I scurried back inside. I'm like, hurry up, pee. Yeah. Okay, let's get to this. Kristy, I've known you for a little while now. You have one of the nicest demeanors of anyone I've come across and had the pleasure of working with. And I know that you have a class coming up on manifestation. I think it's 201, right?
Yes.
Call it 201.
Yes, it's called the Keys to Alignment.
Very nice. So let's talk a little bit. Kristy, mindfulness is one of the components in the power of three: body, mind, spirit, which I talk about. It is something that I personally believe is the collaboration of those three things really set us up for our highest and best. So you've been really diving though into the art of the mind, of mindfulness in regards to manifestation. So can you tell us a little bit about how your spiritual journey began and why manifestation?
Oh, definitely. Pardon me. So I am a psychologist. I have a master's degree in counseling psychology and have been practicing since 2010. And so I have been very interested in the brain for a very long time, in particular neuroplasticity, which is like how the brain changes itself. And, but I was, I'm a newly spiritual person per se. It's only been since the beginning of 2020 that this journey started for me. And it started with the 21-day abundance series challenge with Deepak Chopra. Right. And at the time, a lot of people are like, well, I know I should meditate, I should, which is shoulding on yourself. But, and I did it. And I was like, you know what? I encourage other people to do it for their mental health, but I don't do it. So I was like, my friend invited me to this group, and I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, I'll join it. I'll do it. And I really liked it. It was very kind of prepackaged, and it was 15 minutes, and there was a little homework to do, and which I like. And so I did it. And then I really got into it, and I actually did it 4 times in 2020. And again, this was an abundance one. And then within 8 months, I had about $50,000 worth of debt, and within 8 months it was all gone, and coming from unexpected sources, right? Like I didn't get a raise, like I worked in the school system. we gotta go on strike for
dear.
crazies typically, right? So it wasn't that, it was just, and I went, wow. So about 6 months into, so kind of like summertime, I discovered Abraham Hicks, which is a very manifestation focused. I've now certainly moved beyond what Abraham Hicks offers, but at the time it was exactly what I could handle, right? Because spirit only gives us what we can handle at the time. And I've definitely experienced this progression. So the deal with why I decided to start manifesting on purpose, because we're all doing it all the time, right? Like you're manifesting whether you know about it or not. And so I was like, well, I think the way Abraham put it was, well, in order to align with the things that you want, you have to align with their energy. And I wanted better, nicer, fun, like more fun. So I was like, well, even if this is a bunch of hogwash, right? I said, the price that I'm going to pay is happiness. And I was like, that's pretty win-win to me. So because the more we get more of whatever we focus on. So I focused on good feeling things. And then I actually, I started getting rewarded. So manifestation, a lot of people think of it like it is the stuff that you get, because manifestation in its purest form is like taking something that is intangible, like a thought, and turning it into like a physical object, right?
Correct.
So it was like, so I started the physical objects and things that I used to consider coincidences, all these different things started happening, and I went, whoa. Now, because of my science background and my psychological background, I needed the evidence, right? So this is why manifestation for me is because a lot of the people that are attracted, or I am attracting to my business, are professional people who want to up level, and they might not be ready to dive deep into the woo-woo, if you know what I mean. Although we definitely get there a little bit with 201.
Let's just go on to question number 2, which is, and you talked a bit about it though. You have talked a bit about it already. It's, your background is in science of the mind. You teach in a variety of ways, a variety of different things. Yeah. So can you describe a little bit to us? I mean, you have already a little bit. So how does moving into more of a state of the right side of the brain, which is our creative side, from the left side, which is our analytical is what I'm trying to say to you, my friend, logical side, how does that different from the work you've been doing previously, or is it different?
It's not really all that different. It's just that there's the spiritual component to it now, right? So left side brain. So when I structure my courses, they engage the left side brain, right? Because we can do this very like deep learning. Everything is laid out in, lots of like, there's a visual, there's an audio, I use multimedia to engage, because I was a teacher as well. I know how to put a lesson together, right?
Right.
But when you're in therapy, you're mostly dealing with emotions, which are right brain dominated. And so most of the time we live in our left brain, but when we get activated by an intense emotion, whether it be positive or negative, right? Then the right brain just goes, hey, boom, like I'm in charge. So the difference though, is that now there's another piece to it, which is this almost like a faith piece that comes into it, and believing that there is other guidance out there other than what comes from our logical mind and what we've learned and been conditioned to learn.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And it's funny because I am the least left side brained person you'll ever find, hence, I have a team of not only spirits, but humans that guide me through everyday life, which I'm so grateful for. Listen, spiritualism and the metaphysical work hand in hand. This I can tell you without a word of a lie. Are you finding that through the metaphysical part of the journey, you are becoming more spiritual?
Yes. Okay. So this is really interesting because, again, and I cover this in Manifestation 101, the science of manifestation. And when I explain it, we actually do a little dive into quantum mechanics and quantum physics, which is proving that metaphysical stuff, like, it's real. Right. Like, and for the people, again, that are more like me, that like need this evidence, they need the background in order for them to establish foundation to then have that faith. Right. So it's like, it's kind of like, I feel like manifestation is so good for, well, I mean, spirituality is good for everyone as well, but for people who are maybe a little bit hesitant about it, it's almost like it's a really great way to dip your toe into the spiritual world. Because I tell you what, now I'm like all in, I am all in and super pumped about the next level and the next level. But I also know that in order to grow, there needs to be space. And I just know when there's going to be space. So
exactly. And, here's the thing, our spiritual selves are based in philosophy, right? The spiritualism, it's not an organized religion. We don't follow a dogma or a creed. We simply are following the unconditional love and the receiving and the giving. And we still have our very human experiences, right? So the metaphysical part is something that is the tangible part in my view, right? The spiritualism, the part where we are connecting with energetic beings and spiritual beings, that is, I think, the hardest part for most people that maybe have been taught preconceived notions. That's the hardest part. So I love the fact that you just are full on in, coming from that place of the left brain.
And also like coming from a place of being an atheist, I was
Right?
atheist from age 12 to 25. And then I became agnostic because I was like, well, like 6 billion people believe in God. And I was like, oh, maybe, I was like, but I wasn't sure. But I realized when I started having my spiritual awakening, I realized, first of all, I can just have a direct relationship, right? And I realized that it was dogma that was the thing that was repelling me away from spirit. But then when I realized I didn't have to have dogma, like you just explained, all of a sudden I went, whoa, okay. And then I started opening up to it.
I love it. I do. I love anything to do with spiritualism. I am the queen of running around with my moments, and spiritualism has really allowed me to be my authentic self. So in your opinion, Kristy, what is the most important personality trait someone would need to be able to start manifesting what they need in their lives? Now let's take it, the intention setting, right?
Yeah. Well, for the first, you need to want it, right? And you need to be open to it. And a lot of people think they are, but they're really not, right? So they're like, oh yeah, and then, but they're not really willing to do the work or willing to change their beliefs, right? So we have a ton of conditioning, a ton of it, especially as women, to be honest. And so there's a lot of like unraveling and untangling that needs to be done, and it can be messy. And we're so used to being programmed to be in control all the time, and in order to do this work, you have to relinquish that control. And as someone who is very A-type and have benefited throughout my life for being in control and for following the rules, like most people in my family and my friends are going, what are you doing, girl? But I'm making decisions now based on my emotional guidance system, and I've never been happier. So
that's a win-win, no doubt. That's a win-win. And we talk about, in my world, we talk about goddess empowerment a lot, and it's goddess, whatever, it's just a term. But really, it's about empowering yourself to believe that you can take on anything. And the truth of the matter is, in all honesty, we can take on anything. We may not do it the same way, I may not do math equations the same way a mathematician does it, but I can mumble my way through some things and get, to part one of it or whatever. But you see my point. We can attempt, at least, the very least, to attempt, and then we can bring it around to our flavor so that it is what we need.
Yeah. And that's something I definitely encourage, right? So like I teach a specific thing and I curate the videos and I do all that kind of stuff, but I always say, explore this on your own, and find the things that you connect with. Just because I connect with something doesn't mean that you are, but I can show you the layout and the path. I can give you the framework to work within and then to discover yourself. And for most people, that feels very safe, right? There's a safety component to it. And the fact that I'm like a therapist, right? So I have a way of expressing things in a very therapeutic manner. And actually, some of the feedback that I've gotten from my dress rehearsal with Manifestation 201 is that it is the cheapest and most effective therapy these people have ever had.
Okay, no word of a lie.
Yeah.
No word of a lie.
Yeah.
I had a woman she's doing an intensive 4-month private one-on-one with me. So it's 4 months worth of raising her vibration and psychic work and metaphysical work. And she looked me dead eye in the face and she said, you are the cheapest therapy I've ever had. I
Yep.
said, that's not the first time I've heard that, Lovey.
I
It's
know.
not the first time I've heard that. And a lot of the work that I end up doing as an empowerment medium, or a medium just by itself, is being that tool to show them how to find their inner strengths.
Yep.
And sometimes that's just by listening.
Yeah, it's a guide. I mean, with things like doing things like shadow work, which is unit 2 of Manifestation 201, which is highly addictive. I cannot believe every time I get triggered, I'm like, ooh, I get to do shadow work.
Must look at this now from a deep perspective.
Right. And then I'm like, okay, I can table it in the moment and be like, but two things came up last week and they were the same trigger. And I was like, okay, Saturday morning, we're working on this. And I came out of a 25-minute meditation going, well, that's gone. I understand where that came from. I understand this and that. And then it goes away. It's so amazing.
Yeah, it's true. It's totally true. So let's talk a little bit about this new journey that you're on, because it is fairly new for you, right? I've been doing this work for over 22 years, and you kind of just came in 2020 and just came in like a bull in a china shop, though. So good on you, girl. What is one lesson your experience has taught you? So on this new journey, what is one lesson that your experience has taught you that you think everyone should learn at some point in their life?
Okay, so surrender, right? So again, this was a very challenging thing, and it's still a bit of it's an ongoing thing for me to surrender. And once I made meditation a daily practice, it's like I get up, my friend calls it RPM, rise, pee, meditate.
Nice. We should get a bumper sticker. No one will know what it means but us.
So it's like I get up, I do that, I light a candle, and it's at least half an hour in the morning. And this is my daily surrender. I start like that, and then as it sets me up for this wonderful day. So, I mean, meditation, everybody, I honestly, it is a requirement. It is just part of my routine now, just like eating breakfast, it's just the part of me. So, but you need to practice surrender. You just don't go all of a sudden one day like, hey, I've been crushing it in the man's world for 20 years, and now I'm going to take on all this feminine energy and just surrender. Like, it doesn't happen that way. We have to like chip away at it, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, so I would say surrender definitely. And again, it's something that it's a constant for me, just because, again, like my conditioning, and like I've been rewarded, I'm highly educated. I've had, anyways, good, very solid paying jobs, that kind of thing. And it's very interesting to have pretty much like left it all behind. Like,
right. But
yes.
I say good for you. Like, hallelujah. Amen. Get on your way doing something that really fills your heart. And I'm sure that when you were doing those jobs, you were passionate about it. You were in there, you were doing the good work. But now, we move on. I get a lot of people that say things to me like, Tara, I feel lost. Tara, I don't feel connected anymore. Am I on the right path? And the funny thing is about that, Kristy, is that I'll show them an opportunity. I'll give them an opportunity. And they want me to do the work.
No.
They want me. And I'm like, yo, boo, do you know how busy I am? But
also, you can't do the work for them.
No, and that's the biggest thing.
It's just like exercise. You can't, no one else can do your push-ups for you. Right? Like,
right. And that's the biggest thing, is that they come to someone like me and they are like, okay, well, she's going to fix this. She's going to give me the wisdom and the knowledge to fix this. And I always say, the hard work is your goal, sister, brother, whomever. The hard work is your goal. So let's talk about hard work for a second there. What does one need to do, Kristy, to set up for the intention manifestation setting? Like, is there a routine process for this in your experience?
Yeah, we cover a lot of that in Manifestation 101, which is called Living Life on Purpose. And it's basically changing your thought patterns. So again, the mind, right? So changing your thought patterns to focus on what you do want rather than what you don't. Because a lot of people, when they use phrases, they'll say things like, I don't want to be sick. Well, you're still talking about being sick. And so you're going to manifest more sickness. But if you just say, I'm fit and healthy, right? It does get deeper than this. This is very surface, but we start to so you have to find out what you actually really want. And so we go through a whole process of a week long where people do 20 things a day that they want, with small things, big things. Anyways, you just try to figure out what do you actually want out of life? Because if you don't know, that's what you're going to manifest, right? You'll manifest the things that you're just kind of like, you need to decide, right? So that's the first step, is you need to go through the process of deciding what you want. And some of those things can manifest without too much deeper work, but the universe, source, spirit, God, however you want to call it, does not listen to the words coming out of your mouth, right? It listens to your subconscious, which is why in 201, we dig into the subconscious work to clear out those blockages.
I truly believe that words are powerful, though, and I believe that when we as humans need the wording. So when we are speaking out loud to spirit, you know, when we do release and manifestation work in my world, when I do the releasing, it is people like literally yelling what they are releasing out, but using powerful words. I need, not I want. Want is disempowering. I need. Right? I'm not a big person on prayer, and let everyone come after me. But prayer has always sounded to me like we're begging. Please, God,
100%.
Give me this.
Yeah.
And they never question. They always think they're deserving. And I'm not saying that they're not, but they never question the work they've done for it. Yeah. Right.
Also, I would say I agree with the begging thing 100%. But also, like, a lot of people when they're praying or when they're trying to manifest, they're thinking, what can God, spirit, universe do for me? But the real question is, what can I do for spirit, right? That's the real, like, that's where the shifting comes from. When we shift from expectation to appreciation, everything changes. Everything changes. Yeah.
Gratitude. Thank you. You know, and the other thing is, another spoken phrase that I use with my clients all the time is spirit works with us, not for us. Right? They're not up there sitting there saying, okay, Kristy, what can I take off your list today, boo? Gotcha, girl. They don't do that. They want to give us the tools so that we do the work, because in the end, according to my philosophy, it is the upliftment. Right? We are ascending by doing the work. That is the whole purpose of us being here. And we are supposed to be working, and some of us truly are, in unconditional love. Yeah. So we do the work. That is truly the best feeling. So I love that. Here's one. We're getting close to the end here, so we got to slip these in. What is one underrated tool that you believe, Kristy, people need to embrace to do this work? You said surrender. Is there another one?
Well, it just goes along with meditation. Like, I think that a lot of people don't realize how beneficial it is across the board, right? Like, so again, without meditation for like just, you know, calming myself down, mental health, that kind of stuff, I wouldn't be here, right? So it's that opening up that comes from, like, we don't change unless new ideas, like we receive new information. So we have like 60,000 thoughts a day, and 95% of them are the same as we had yesterday. And for the average person, 80% of those are negative, right? So first thing we do is we shift them from negative to positive, like that's the first thing. But if you constantly watch the same things, read the same books, all that kind of stuff, you don't get anything new. And what meditation does, right, especially guided, most of my meditations are guided. I do like typically 15 minutes of guided and then 15 minutes of music or something in there. Yeah. I always have somebody talking to me, right? Like it's because I want the new information. I want new ways of looking at things. And so I would say, yeah, it is. Anyways, in my courses, it's mandatory every day. It's like, yeah, and then what I hope is that people will continue to do it.
So I'll say this, I loathe meditation. I cannot still my mind long enough. And so I do something different. I do the gap, and it sets me up, and it gives me it gives me my peace of mind. It gives me my comfort, my calming down energy. I do love, though. So for those of you out there, to my followers who really struggle with meditation like I do, Kristy hit the nail on the head when she said, I listen to guided meditations. That's a game changer for those of us whose minds don't want to slow down. And there's nothing wrong, in my view, with having a busy mind. I'm an entrepreneur. I am not on call 24/7, but I work with a lot of people in a lot of different capacities in the spiritual and metaphysical world. And For me, I'm a Scorpio, and I live that like nobody's business. And so my mind is just a whirlwind of whirlwindness. So if you feel you can't get that, if you're worried that you are not doing it the way Deepak said, let me say this. Stillness of the mind comes in many different ways. Get a guided meditation, change your narrative. Let them talk to you. Let them fill your mind with good thoughts, new opportunities, new endeavors, different ways of thinking of things. That is just as good as sitting in mindful stillness.
Yeah, I would say almost never do mindful stillness. I do mindful stillness when I'm like waiting in line at the grocery store. Instead of getting on my phone, I like just sit there and like, because you're waiting for 10 minutes or whatever, and I just tune out. And that's kind of the only time I do that, is like when I'm waiting for something. But no, it's a guided meditation. And in the courses that I teach, I have gone through, let's say 30 different meditations on shadow work, and I've chosen 10 that I feel are really good quality, that really get to the point, you know, that kind of stuff. So I've done all that work, and you get a list of them when in the course. So there's at least 40 meditations in each course based on the different topic, and yeah, and a variety of different people who come from different aspects. And then I listen to meditation music, and often that's when I get the deepest. So I've got the new ideas from or reinforcing an idea that I already like. And you also don't have to buy into everything the person is saying. You can still use you'd be like, ooh, no, that doesn't fit for me. You have the power to just stop it. Like,
yeah, I always say, take what resonates, what doesn't, you leave it behind.
Yeah. And then I just listen to some music, and then I get up and start my day. So yeah, I think I was told by a friend that I listened to guided meditation. She's like, that's not meditating. And I was like, yes, it is.
I'm sorry, who are you talking to, lady? Okay. Right? And the other thing about the guided music, that's a lovely one for relaxation and whatnot. And don't be afraid if you fall asleep. I know a lot of people are like, oh my God, I fell asleep in the meditation. You know, I actually did that Deepak Chopra. I hosted a group. So I facilitated it and hosted a group with it. And we did that. And how many people called me and said, well, I fell asleep. And I said, you can still do the homework. You can, your subconscious collects it.
It does, because when we're in meditation, we're in a brainwave called theta. And when we get deep into it, when you get that kind of tingly sensation, essentially that's melatonin and serotonin, like leaving your pineal gland and going into your body, into this deep relaxation. And your pineal gland is your third, it's in the middle of, anyways, it's in here. Yeah. And anyways, but it's the thing that releases those things that give you that relaxation, and also then connects you to spirit at the same time. But I didn't know that's what was happening back in the day. You know, I was just like, wow, this is great. I feel fantastic. Right. But yeah, it's interesting. The music is a good way to also relax, and it kind of, yeah. And there's certain like Hertz's, like you can look up, there's so many different things, but falling asleep is actually kind of ideal, which is why I do it in the, like I'll sometimes meditate at night. Just make sure you plug in your phone, because otherwise it'll run all night and then your alarm won't go off in the morning.
Good piece of advice, Kristy.
Sure.
So we're coming to an end, Boo, and I'm so happy you came along for this. Any last words, Kristy? Any books or podcasts you'd like to recommend to our viewers that you feel they'd find interesting?
For sure. There is this podcast that I turn to when I need answers, and it's called Manifestation Babe. And her name is Catherine Zankina, and she is a riot. She is she's about 30 years old. And it's so funny how she has over I think like 250 podcasts, and you get to see her spirit. I haven't listened to all of them, but she has wonderful guests in the spiritual community from all different areas. And she's funny. She's to the point. She swears like a truck driver. And it's like, she's just unequivocally herself. And again, like I was really struggling in October with just things were just, I was like, how am I manifesting all of this? Right. Like I was like, things were just going sideways all over the place. And then I listened to one of hers and I got my answer. It was the universe just redirecting me in the place I'm supposed to go. And I listened, and now I'm on the other side, and it's fantastic. I have all this clarity, but it was tough. Like it's a slog sometimes, right? Like the only way through is through. So we have to, anyway. So yeah, Manifestation Babe podcast. She's also on Instagram, and I think she has a YouTube channel, but yeah, she's a riot. So she's my go-to.
Thank you so much for that. I want to say something super quick because Kristy's talking about, guys, being able to manifest, being able to bring abundance to your life, whether that be financially, in love, in wealth, health, all those wonderful things. And it's funny because I'm expanding my little business here, and I actually this is so funny to me. This entrepreneur woman, I belong to these groups and I'm not sure why, but now I know. And anyway, this woman reached out to me and she's like, I just wanted to say hello and whatever. I'm like, hello. And she's like, so if I was to ask you what the one thing you need right now in your business was, and I loathe these things, can I be honest? I'm not a business person. I'm doing good, but I'm not a business person. I'm not a business person because I want to be. I'm a business person because I have to be. And I'm thriving in that. So I'm good with it. But I hate those questions. She says, what's one thing? I said, organization. She says, she wrote back, and the only thing she said was online business manager. Talk to you soon. Click. I was like, oh my God. That's exactly what I need.
There you go.
So there's a manifestation. I needed someone. I'm doing everything. I have 2 assistants, for the love of the great goddess, and I'm still chucking papers all over the place and answering emails and texts. There we go. That is it. Kristy, thank you so much for coming on. When's your class?
It starts November 23rd at 7 p.m. PST, because of course I have people from all over North America who have joined me in the past. And so, but everything, if you are somewhere not PST or MST, where it's kind of feasible for you to join us, each session is about an hour, but everything is recorded. So I plan everything so that you can take it anytime. It is a self-paced course, and just so that it allows for maximum flexibility. Again, the people that I'm attracting to my business are busy professionals. So they need that flexibility, and I'm more than pleased to provide it.
It's the way of the world right now, baby.
Yep, sure is.
Kristy, take care. I will talk to you soon. And anyone that's around in the North or in the Vancouver area, come see Kristy and I at the Spirit of Healing at the Pacific Rim Fairmont Hotel, November 16th. Tickets on the website. Bye, boo.
Bye.